Welcome to the Friday Drive, and here want to talk about some things on my mind. In this case, just straight up motivation, straight up inspiration. You saw from the title of this video, $10,000 in 1 week. That is crazy, $10,000 in 1 week. I mean, what would that do for you? For me, I'm only gonna speak for myself, but $10,000 in 1 week, you can do a lot with that. And that's what we had thanks to a longtime member, Dan, in the community. And I'll be throwing up some screenshots here. But to set up a little context here, Dan has been around. Let's see, I started ClayTrader back in 2013. And I think he signed up and went through the whole, my educational program, I think in 2014, maybe it was 2015. But regardless, he's invested into himself and he's been around a long time, which is a testament in and of itself. I mean, a lot of people struggle to survive in the market 6 months, let alone, what has it been, about 6 years now. And he's doing very well for himself. And this is not like me cherry picking anything, because I get it, that could be a valid concern. Like, okay, Clay, he had one good week and maybe he got totally lucky that week because he was just a degenerate gambler. And that is actually a more than fair criticism, but that's why I want to offer up context. And I'm going to put all these links down below, but Dan has been on the podcast, so we'll put a link to that podcast below. I wrote an article about mental toughness in Dan, and this article is 3 or 4 years old. I'll put a link down to there. So my point is that Dan's been doing this sort of stuff, not just 1 week. He didn't just get lucky or anything like that. So Dan is at it, and this is the stuff. I mean, I find it very motivating. I find it very inspiring that this sort of stuff is possible. And not only is it possible, but it happens. And not only does it happens within our little community, which of course you're welcome to join. If you don't, that's okay too. But I want you to know that these sorts of things are possible, but it's not like this happened overnight. This took time. And like I said, you can, in fact, that reminds me, we need to pressure Dan to get him back on another podcast. So if you are in the community, start to hit up Dan in the chat room and be like, hey, new podcast. We want an updated podcast, because I want one too. But Dan is a very busy guy. And I mean, he's kind of a scumbag. He's spending all his time with his grandkids. I mean, who does that? Who spends all their time with their grandkids? What a scumbag Dan is. But obviously, all kidding aside, Dan is very, very busy, but we want to have him back. But there's still plenty of data, and I posted things on social media over the years from him. But what I like about Dan and what I find inspiring is, and I mean, it makes sense. He's a former college coach, but he is mentally tough, and that's what that one article I talk about down below is all about. Where he takes losses, but you know what? He just gets over it. And he keeps on grinding. He keeps on going. In fact, I'll put a screenshot up right now showing that this was the loss from the week, which brings about another great talking point is you don't have to be perfect. So right here you see an $1,800 loss. Yet even with that, and we'll put up the image right now of the week itself. But as you can see here, and you can look at those dates. So it was just a week of time, $10,000 in that week. But that is not with perfect trading. That is with disciplined trading. And the discipline, sure, not necessarily always pleasant. I mean, nobody wants to lose $1,800, but within the grand scheme of things, Dan walked away with, again, $10,000 in 1 week. So there is power in being mentally tough. There is power in just shoving your ego to the side and saying, you know what, I'm wrong. I didn't get this one right. Maybe I made a mistake. So I don't want this thing to hemorrhage on me any longer. Let me just take the loss. And that's what he did, and he still walked away with a very, very green week. So hard work, lots of things are possible. Dedication, lots of things are possible. But you still gotta be disciplined up here. You still gotta have mental toughness. You still gotta have the ability to just admit to yourself that you may not be right. So Dan is absolutely doing a great job out there. And like I said, this is not some sort of, hey, join my community and you're gonna be making $10,000 in 1 week. That's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is that it is possible. It does happen. And it happens within, our community itself, and but there's a lot that goes into it, and Dan is a really good example of that. So if you're interested in learning more about Dan and kind of just, his journey, again, podcast down below. I'll put an article I did about him, actually the article down below, if you're interested, is about he made $20,000 in 3 weeks, and this was like 4 years ago. So Dan's actually getting even better now. Instead of taking him 3 weeks to make $20,000, because what's that? That's about $6,500 a week. Is my math right there? Yep. $6,500. So now he's doing $10,000 in a week. Now, also, final disclosure, I'm not saying Dan does $10,000 every single week, but the potential is there, and that's what gets me inspired. That's what gets me motivated. It can happen. It does happen. You got to have a strategy. You got to have education. You got to know what you're doing. But get out there, grind, you know, work hard, maybe make an investment. I'd love to teach you, but if you want to go with another coach, that's cool too. You know, you do what's best for you, but I want you to know that this sort of stuff is possible and it happens, but it's not an overnight thing. It takes time, it takes effort, and it takes a whole lot of mental toughness and discipline. So that's all I have for you on this Friday drive. And again, comment below, do you still enjoy these, or what are your thoughts on them? And if you do if you do enjoy them, then I'll keep making them. But this is kind of fun. It's I feel like my trading is getting better because I have to stay so focused on the roads, yet focused on not sounding like a total idiot. But I might be failing with the total idiot part. But thanks for hanging out. Thanks for driving with me, and I'll see you back next week. And good job, Dan. First off, thanks so much for watching the entire video. Real quick, before you go, I want to invite you to a live webinar, web class, training, workshop, online event, whatever you want to call it, but it will be me live revealing to you what I've discovered that has allowed me to transform myself from being an employee to being my own boss, including how I had only one losing day out of 73 days in total. I'm going to cover 3 keys that have helped me unlock profitable consistency within the markets. The first key is super weird, but in a productive type of way. The second key is super awesome because it quite literally is wired into our DNA as humans, making it very easy to use. But in a cruel way, this becomes a pitfall for many traders. I'll explain it all though, including how to avoid the pitfall that it creates for some. And yeah, the third key, when you hear it, sounds way too good to be true, but it's not, and I'll show you how it all works. Then at the end, I open it up for a question and answer session that is, again, totally live. Even if you can't make the live session, please still sign up as it will be recorded, and you can go back and watch the replay that I will send you. Click the image on the screen or click the link down in the description box so you can get the date and time and claim your spot, which I should note is limited due to the fact that this truly is a live event. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'll be seeing you soon.